Okay guys, this is my video on tonicization. Okay, so tonicization, what is it? Well, it's taking any non-tonic triad, which has to be major or minor, and making it a local tonic. Okay, so if I'm in the key of C major, and I'll just set up my staff here, so I'm going to be in C, right? So normally, C is going to be my tonic. That's going to be 1, okay? So I could go from 1 to 5 and back to 1. So I just did this 1, 5, 1. Okay? All right. But now, of course, I could do something similar with a non-tonic triad within C major. I could look at D and say, oh, I want to do the 5 of D. And we all know that in the key of C major, D minor is 2. But I could have its own 5. Okay, so now I have D minor. There's my D minor, and I could have a 5 of it. Okay, so I could go, oh, D, and 5 of D is going to be A. So I could say, oh, I could have 5, 7 of that, right? And then go back to D, which we already know is 2. Now the caveat I need to make is that in my analysis, I need to say, oh, well, this is 5, 7 of 2 goes to 2. So that's one way of analyzing it. I could also say, oh, I could have 5, 7 of 2 goes to 2, like that. That's another way of analyzing it, okay? Now, let's get a bit more into the voice leading of it, okay? So I'm just going to use all open note heads right now, okay, to make it a bit quicker and easier to write on my tablet. Okay, so we're still in the key of C major, and I want to tonicize my 2. We already know that we can go and use the 5 of it, and so we're just going to build our chords here up from the roots. So we know that this is going to be 5, 7 of 2, and I'm going to use my arrow notation because I think it's a bit quicker, and do that. Let me first build my D minor triad in 4 voices. So there's my 5th, here's my 3rd, and here's my doubled root like that. Okay, now let's go backwards and we'll look at this chord here, and this is going to be the 5, 7. So here's the root in the bass. Next in the tenor, I will put the 3rd of the chord. And the 3rd of the chord is important because it is the local leading tone of the chord that we're going to, which is D. There's my 7th of the chord, and then here's my 5th of the chord. Okay, so now the sound is going to be like, okay, the 7th of the chord, which is this, goes down by step. Okay, the leading tone, which is this, it can actually skip down like that if it's in an inner voice. That's okay. Now, so also if we can have 5, 7 of 2, we can also have inversions of the 5, 7 of 2. Okay, so not just 5, 7, we could also have 5, 6, 5. So now we'll put the 3rd in the bass. Okay, I'm just going to revoice my 5, 7 of 2 chord, which is also known as an applied chord or secondary dominant. Okay, so this is still 5, but now it's going to be 5, 6, 5 of 2, like that. Okay. So the A stays there. The 7th of the chord, which is the G, it's still going to go down to F. And then the 5th of the chord up here, it's going to go down to D. So now the sound is like that. Okay, and we can do the same thing with any of the other inversions. Okay, like we could have 5, 4, 3. Let me fill that in a bit better. 5, 4, 3 goes to, let's say, 2, 6. keep in mind, you got to put in the arrow or use the slash notation. Okay, I'm not going to fill in the whole chord just for now. Then we could also have 5/4/2 of 2/6. Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off. I got a brand new piece of manuscript paper. I'll be drawing a black, and we are continuing with our 5/4/2 of 2. So I'll put G in the bass, goes to F, and we'll put our analysis 5/4/2 of 2 goes to 2, and I'll just use the arrow notation. I should say it goes to 2/6, right? Okay. And, you know, if we could just put in the notes above there just to make it more complete. Put in the C sharp, the third of the chord, put in the A, which is the root, and E, which is the fifth of the chord. Okay, so the seventh in the bass, that's always going to go down by step to the third of the chord that it's tonicizing. Leading tone here is going to go up to the root. Okay, the fifth of the chord, A, can just, or rather the root can just kind of hang out here, stay on A, and the E can just go down to D like that. So then we get the sound like this. Sorry, let's try that again. Okay, and that's going to be landing on 2/6. Okay, so now we can also do the same thing but with seventh chords, or I should say fully diminished seventh chords. Okay, so we're still in the key of C major, just so that we know what key that we're in. Okay, and so we could have, for instance, we could have diminished 6/5, and here I can just use, let me try that again. Diminished 6/5 of 2 goes to 2. And you notice I didn't put in my Roman numeral. Well, that's because any diminished, fully diminished seventh chord is always going to be 7 of something. Okay, so the context makes it clear. Okay, context meaning that I have the little degree symbol right here that tells me the quality is fully diminished, seventh. Okay, and of course the 6/5 tells me what inversion it's in with the third in the bass. Okay, and then we'll just resolve. Leading tone goes up to the local tonic, which is D. Okay, the G goes down to F. Okay, the E, where are we going to put that? We're going to put that up here, so I should say it's actually going to 2/6. Okay, and because we have a diminished fifth between B flat and E, the B flat's going to go down to A. Okay, like that, and then we get the sound. Okay, and then we could do similar things with 5/4/3. Sorry, I should say diminished. Diminished 4/3 of 2 goes to 2/6, like this. And I'll just fill in the chord. G, C sharp. Okay, let me just fill in that C sharp a bit better. Okay, and then I'll just resolve. Leading tone goes up to D. Oh yeah, this G shouldn't be here, right? I already have a G in the bass. Okay, so what do I need? I need the third of the chord, which is E. Okay, and the E goes up to F. The B flat, let me put in the B flat there. Okay, let me make that E a bit better. I'll just do it like this. Is that better? That's better. Okay, so I still have my fully diminished seventh sound. And I'm missing one chord tone for my 2/6, and that's my A. The B flat should go down to A. Okay. Finally, if we were to have a fully diminished 7th chord in 4/2 position, that doesn't usually happen, and there's a reason. Well, it does happen, but it has to resolve in a particular way. So if C sharp is my root, B flat's going to be my 7th. Here is my 3rd of the chord, which is E. 5th of the chord, which is G. And the C sharp is my actual root of the chord. Okay, now if we resolve everything properly, we know that this is my 5/4. I'll use slash notation this time. Of 2 goes to 2. Well, what inversion is it going to go to? Well, if the 7th here, the B flat, if it has to fall down by step, it's going to go to A. Okay, and if you have A, that's going to be your 5th of the chord. It's going to create a dissonant 4th upstairs here. Okay, that's a 4th. Okay, and that's actually technically wrong. Okay, we don't usually have chords in 6/4 position. Okay, so that doesn't really happen. Okay, but if it were to happen like this, if we wanted to try and make it work, well, let me just erase the 4th here just to go back here. One way of getting out of this, I'm going to erase this analysis because I don't really like it. It could possibly resolve like this. Okay, now we have something a little bit different. Okay, we have something a little bit different. So here's my sound. That's the diminished 4/2 of 2. And then it resolves to this sound. We already know that sound, right? And if I kept going, we get something that sounds familiar. And actually, what's really going on is that we actually get, you guessed it, our cadential 6/4, but of what? Oh, of 2. So I'm going to take my X out of here because we're trying to make it right. I'm going to say, well, this is of 2. It's all happening within the sphere of 2. Okay? So now my D, I'll make these half notes just to make it a little bit clearer. The D, because it's dissonant, we already know it's a dissonant 4th, it's going to go to C sharp. Okay? The A could hang out there. And then the F is going to go down to E. So what does it go to? It actually goes to an A triad, A major triad. So it starts off this sound right here, okay? And then it goes to here, right here. And then, of course, if we wanted to really resolve it, then it would just go here. Hey, you know what? I'm going to erase that. Because this could go to F, the 3rd of the chord of our 2 chord. This can go to D. And the A is going to go scoot down to here. And I'll extend my bracket here to that. Oop, let me fill that in. So it's all within 2. Okay? All right. So this little thing here that we just did, it brings up another topic within tonicization, and that's called extended tonicization. Okay, so what we first started doing at the beginning of the video was tonicizing particular specific or just single chords. Now we can take a single chord, a single non-tonic chord, and tonicize it over a long range of chords. So I'll sort of show you what I mean. I'll go to a new set of staves here and set this up. We'll still be in C major. Okay, so I'm still in C. Okay, I'll set up a couple bars here. Maybe 4, but whoa, set up 4 bars. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll be the end of my exercise. Okay, go back to the beginning here. I'm going to set up a little bass line. Again, I'm just using goose eggs, whole notes. It just takes a long time to fill them in, and just bear with me. Okay, so I'm starting off in C, right? This is 1. This is going to be 7 diminished 6. Okay, so all this stuff should look pretty familiar. Now we're going to change gears when we get to the G, and I'm going to say, oh, you know what? I want all this stuff to be or not in, but of 2. I'm going to be tonicizing 2. So now G goes to F. So I'm just creating this exercise for you right now, but what I'm doing is, you'll see in the analysis, is an extended tonicization of 2. Okay, so D, E, I'm still tonicizing 2 at this point. And then at the end here, you know what? I'm going to just include now a tonicization of 5. And then I'll end on 1 there like that. Okay, so I'll go back. So here's I'm in this key. And then here's my bass line. Do, 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 ba, ba, do, 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 da, 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 like that. Okay, so the beginning sounds like I'm in C major, so I'll do a little voice exchange. Mi, re, do, do sharp, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, re, mi, re, do, and just to make it, clear that I'm doing, should I do all that? Do I want to put stems on everything? You know what, just for now, let's just keep it like this, just to keep it simple, easy to write. Okay, so I would begin right here with my little voice exchange. Okay. Okay, but now, right here, I'm going to go to applied, or secondary dominant of 2, or a G in the bass. That got me to right here. And then I'll tonicize 5, and then do a little cadential 6/4. Like that. So now if we put in some Roman numerals, this whole thing right here is all within the key, or I should say of 2, of the 2 chord. So if that's the case, what I can then do is say, oh, okay, well, this is now 5/4/2 of 2. This is 1/6 of 2. This is 7 diminished 6 of 2. This is 1 of 2. Let's say this is 5/6/5 of 2. This is 1 of 2. This is 7 diminished 6 of 2. This is 1/6 of 2. Wow, that's a lot of ofs. So to make it simpler, to cut down on the ofs, we just put in a big bracket like this. And then we say, oh, all of that is of 2. Okay? Right? Oh, sorry, let me go back. So let me play that again. Just what's analyzed. And then the last little bit, we still are involving tonicization here. This is now 5/6/5 of 5, and this will be a cadential 6/4. And then actually we also have, this is actually PAC. Okay, and then finally, to put a cherry on top, we can do a phrase model. Because this stuff here at the beginning is all tonic, we can say, well, that's tonic. And because this stuff here is all of 2, we can say, oh, predominant starts here. Okay, so here's tonic, predominant, and predominant lasts as long. Do we keep going? You know what? I think we do keep going. There are differences in opinion here, but this chord right here is still actually a D chord, okay? It's still actually 2 within the context of C major. Okay, and we don't really get to our dominant until here. And then finally, we get the tonic. Okay, so that is an extended tonicization. Okay, and that is my video on tonicization for today.